Who was the man who stood alone against an entire nation, who challenged kings, destroyed idols, and changed the course of human history forever? Why do billions of Muslims, Christians, and Jews honor the same extraordinary man? According to Islam, there was one person whose faith became the foundation of pure monotheism, a man whom Allah called his close friend. His name was Ibrahim, known in English as Abraham. His story is not merely the story of prophet. It is the story of courage against tyranny, faith against doubt, truth against falsehood, and complete trust in Allah against every impossible challenge. Long after the great flood of Noah, humanity once again drifted away from the worship of the one true God. New civilizations rose across the earth. Powerful kingdoms flourished. Cities became larger. People advanced in agriculture, trade, architecture, and astronomy. But while civilization progressed, faith declined. People forgot the lessons taught by Noah. Instead of worshiping Allah alone, they returned to idol worship. Statues filled temples. People bowed before stone and wood. They believed carved figures could hear prayers, grant children, bring rain, protect crops, and control their destiny. Among the greatest centers of idol worship was the land of Babylon. Its people were known for their wealth, knowledge, and impressive buildings. Yet despite all their achievements, they had abandoned the worship of Allah. Their society revolved around idols. Even the rulers claimed powers that belonged only to the Creator. Among those rulers was a powerful king remembered throughout history. His name was Nimrod. He possessed enormous wealth, a mighty army, magnificent palaces, and absolute authority over his kingdom. Power slowly transformed into arrogance. Eventually, Nimrod believed that no one stood above him. Some traditions even describe him claiming divine authority over the people. Fear kept everyone silent. No one dared challenge him. No one questioned his beliefs. No one spoke against the idols that filled the land. But Allah had already chosen someone who would. A child was about to be born, one who would shake the foundations of falsehood itself. His name was Ibrahim. From an early age, Ibrahim was different. He observed the world with curiosity. He asked questions that no one else dared to ask. While others accepted traditions without thinking, Ibrahim searched for the truth. His own father, known in Islamic tradition as a czar, was closely connected with idol-making. He carved statues with his own hands. People came to him to purchase idols for worship. Imagine growing up in a home where gods were manufactured, where pieces of stone became objects of prayer. Young Ibrahim watched people buy these statues. He watched them carry them home. He watched them place food before them. He watched them ask lifeless objects for help. The more he observed, the less it made sense. How could something carved by human hands become worthy of worship? How could a statue that could neither move nor speak answer prayers? How could something that could be broken become a god? These questions filled Ibrahim's heart. One day, he spoke gently to his father. "O my father, why do you worship that which neither hears nor sees, nor can benefit you in any way?" His words were respectful. He did not insult. He did not shout. He simply invited his father to think. He continued, "O my father, knowledge has come to me that has not come to you. So follow me, and I will guide you to a straight path." But Azar refused. Years of tradition had hardened his heart. Instead of listening, he became angry. He warned Ibrahim, "If you do not stop, I will stone you. Leave me for a long time." Imagine hearing those words from your own father. Yet Ibrahim remained calm. He answered with kindness, "Peace be upon you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you. Indeed, he has always been gracious to me, even when rejected by his own family." He responded with mercy. But Ibrahim's search for truth did not end there. One clear night, he looked toward the sky. The stars shone brilliantly across the darkness. He said, "Could this be my Lord?" Then, as dawn approached, the star disappeared. Ibrahim reflected, "I do not love those that disappear." On another night, he watched the moon rise. Large, bright, beautiful. Again he considered, "Could this be my Lord?" But before long, the moon also set beneath the horizon. Then came the sun, greater than both the stars and the moon. Its light filled the entire world. For a moment, Ibrahim said, "This is greater." But when evening came, the sun also disappeared. At that moment, Ibrahim reached one of the greatest conclusions in human history. How could anything that rises and sets, appears and disappears, live and die, ever be worthy of worship? He declared before his people, "I have turned my face toward the one who created the heavens and the earth, inclining toward truth. I'm not among those who associate partners with Allah." With those words, Ibrahim openly rejected every idol, every false god, every superstition. He chose the worship of Allah alone. But his declaration would soon place him in direct conflict with his people, with the priests, and even with the most powerful king on earth. His greatest test was only beginning. Ibrahim had discovered the truth. There was only one God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who gives life and causes death. But knowing the truth was only the beginning. Now, he had to defend it. Everywhere Ibrahim looked, he saw people bowing before statues. They offered food to lifeless stones. They asked carved idols for protection. They believed these figures control their future. To Ibrahim, it made no sense. One day, he stood before his people and asked, "What are these statues to which you are so devoted?" The people answered without hesitation, "We found our forefathers worshipping them." That was their only argument. Tradition, not evidence, not reason. Simply, this is what our ancestors did. Ibrahim replied, "Indeed, you and your forefathers have been in clear error." The leaders were shocked. No one had ever spoken against their gods before. To question the idols was to challenge the entire society. The priests became furious. The people accused Ibrahim of insulting their religion. Still, he refused to remain silent. He continued inviting them to worship Allah alone. Days passed. Then came the annual festival. Every year, the people left the city to celebrate. The temples were left empty. The idols remained alone inside. Before leaving, some people invited Ibrahim to join them, but he politely declined. As the city emptied, Ibrahim walked toward the great temple. Inside stood dozens of idols. Large ones, small ones, some covered in gold, others decorated with precious jewels. Before them, the people had placed food as offerings. The temple was completely silent. Ibrahim looked around. Then he spoke to the idols. "Will you not eat?" No answer. He asked again, "What is the matter with you? Why do you not speak?" Silence, because they could neither hear, nor speak, nor move. Then Ibrahim picked up an axe. One by one, he struck the idols. Stones shattered across the floor. Wood splintered into pieces. The statues that people had worshipped for generations lay broken. Only one idol remained. The largest of them all. Ibrahim hung the axe around its neck. Then he quietly left the temple. Later that day, the people returned. The moment they entered the temple, their celebration turned into horror. Their gods had been destroyed. Fragments covered the ground. Someone shouted, "Who has done this to our gods?" Another remembered, "We heard a young man speaking against them. His name is Ibrahim." Immediately, the guards were sent to bring him before the people. A huge crowd gathered. The priests stood watching. The leaders demanded answers. They asked, "Did you do this to our gods, O Ibrahim?" Ibrahim remained completely calm. Then he gave an answer that would expose their own beliefs. He pointed toward the largest idol. "No, this biggest one did it. Ask them if they can speak." The crowd fell silent. For a brief moment, they looked at one another. Deep inside, they knew the truth. The idols could not speak. They could not defend themselves. They could not even protect themselves from being broken. The Quran tells us that they began blaming themselves. For a moment, reason defeated blind tradition, but pride quickly returned. Instead of accepting the truth, they chose anger. They shouted, "You know very well they cannot speak." Ibrahim answered it. "Then why do you worship besides Allah, that which can neither benefit you nor harm you? Shame on you and what you worship besides Allah. Will you not use your reason?" There was no answer. Truth had defeated every argument. Unable to respond with evidence, they turned to violence. The leaders announced a terrible punishment. "Burn him. Support your gods, if you truly believe in them." The entire nation began preparing an enormous fire. People gathered wood from every direction. For days, then weeks, the fire grew larger and larger. Its flames became so intense that no one could approach it. The heat could be felt from an incredible distance. The blaze became unlike anything they had ever seen. According to Islamic tradition, the fire burned with such intensity that they built a giant catapult. There was no other way to throw Ibrahim into the flames. His hands were tied. The people celebrated. They believed they were about to destroy the man who challenged their religion. As Ibrahim was placed into the catapult, everything appeared hopeless. No army would rescue him. No family could help him. No human being possessed the power to save him. Only Allah. At that very moment, the angel Jibreel came to Ibrahim. He asked, "Do you need anything?" Imagine the scene. Moments before being thrown into an ocean of fire. Yet Ibrahim answered with complete certainty, "From you, no. Allah is sufficient for me. He is the best disposer of all affairs." It was absolute trust, absolute faith. The catapult was released. Ibrahim was launched through the sky. The people watched as he flew toward the roaring flames. Then, the impossible happened. Allah, the Lord of all creation, issued a single command. "O fire, be coolness and peace upon Ibrahim." The fire continued burning. Its flames remained visible, but by Allah's command, it lost its power to harm. What was meant to destroy Ibrahim became his place of safety. The people stood in disbelief. The flames that consumed everything around them could not burn a single hair on Ibrahim's body. The greatest miracle they had ever witnessed was unfolding before their eyes. But the story of Ibrahim was far from over. The fire had failed. The people had witnessed a miracle with their own eyes. The flames that should have reduced Ibrahim to ashes had become cool and peaceful by the command of Allah. No human explanation could describe what had happened. Yet instead of accepting the truth, most of the people remained stubborn. Pride once again blinded their hearts. News of Ibrahim's miracle spread throughout the kingdom. Eventually, it reached the ears of the most powerful ruler in the land, King Nimrod, a man whose wealth knew no limits, a king whose armies stretched across the land, a ruler who believed that power belonged to him alone. Nimrod summoned Ibrahim to his palace. He wanted to challenge the man who claimed to worship only one God. Standing before the king, Ibrahim remained calm. He feared no throne. He feared no army, because he knew that every king is only a servant before the King of Kings. Nimrod asked, "Who is your Lord?" Without hesitation, Ibrahim answered, "My Lord is the one who gives life and causes death." Nimrod smiled. Believing he could defeat Ibrahim with his own logic, he ordered 2 prisoners to be brought before him. One prisoner was released. The other was executed. Then Nimrod proudly declared, "I also give life and cause death." But Ibrahim immediately exposed the weakness of his argument. He said, "Indeed, Allah brings the sun from the east, so bring it from the west." Silence filled the palace. For the first time, Nimrod had no answer. No king, no emperor, no ruler could ever command the sun. The Quran tells us that the disbelieving king was completely confounded. Truth had defeated power. Reason had defeated arrogance. Still, Nimrod refused to believe. His kingdom remained trapped in pride. Realizing that his mission in Babylon had come to an end, Ibrahim obeyed another command from Allah. He left his homeland. He left behind his family, his possessions, his memories, everything. He chose faith over comfort. He declared, "Indeed, I am going to my Lord. He will guide me." This was one of the first great migrations made purely for the sake of Allah. Ibrahim traveled with his wife Sarah. Along the journey, Allah blessed Ibrahim with another righteous member of his household, Hajar. Years passed. Ibrahim had grown old, yet he still had no children. He continued praying to Allah, "My Lord, grant me a righteous child." Allah answered his prayer. Hajar gave birth to a beautiful son. His name was Ismail. Joy filled Ibrahim's heart. After decades of waiting, Allah had blessed him with a son. But another great test was approaching. One day, Allah commanded Ibrahim to take Hajar and the infant Ismail to a distant valley. A valley unlike any other. There were no rivers, no farms, no villages, no people, nothing but dry mountains and endless desert. Today, that valley is known as Mecca. When Ibrahim arrived, he left a small bag of food and a container of water beside Hajar. Then he turned around to leave. Hajar ran after him. "Oh, Ibrahim, where are you going? Will you leave us here in this barren valley where there is no one?" Ibrahim did not answer. Again she asked. Still, he remained silent. Finally, Hajar asked the question that changed everything. "Has Allah commanded you to do this?" Ibrahim quietly replied, "Yes." At that moment, Hajar's fear disappeared. She said words that continue to inspire believers until today. "Then Allah will never abandon us." Ibrahim walked away. As he reached a distant hill, he turned toward the empty valley. Raising his hands, he made one of the most beautiful prayers in the Qur'an. "Our Lord, I have settled some of my descendants in a valley without cultivation near your sacred house, so that they may establish prayer. So make the hearts of people inclined toward them, and provide them with fruits so that they may be grateful." Days passed. The food ran out. The water was gone. The desert sun grew hotter. Little Ismail began crying from thirst. Hajar searched desperately for water. She climbed the hill of Safa. Nothing. She ran toward the hill of Marwa. Still nothing. Back and forth she ran. Again and again. 7 times. Each journey filled with hope. Each return filled with disappointment. But she never gave up. Then, Allah answered. As Ismail lay upon the ground, the angel Jibril struck the earth by Allah's command. Suddenly, water burst forth from beneath the feet of the child. Clear, pure, abundant. Hajar rushed toward it. She gathered the flowing water with her hands, saying, "Zam, Zam," meaning, "Stop, stop," so the water would remain gathered. That blessed spring became known forever as Zamzam. More than 4,000 years later, it continues to flow, never drying up, never losing its blessing. What had once been an empty desert soon attracted travelers, then families, then tribes. Life began to grow around the miraculous spring. Without realizing it, Ibrahim had laid the foundation for what would one day become the holiest city in Islam. But Allah had prepared one final test for his beloved prophet, a test unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. The test of sacrifice. Years passed. Ismail was no longer an infant. He had grown into a young boy, strong, kind, obedient. He loved his father deeply, and Ibrahim loved him more than words could express. After waiting a lifetime to become a father, Allah was about to test Ibrahim once again. But this time, the test would be greater than the fire, greater than exile, greater than standing alone against an entire nation. One night, Ibrahim saw a dream. In the dreams of the prophets, revelation is true. He saw himself sacrificing his beloved son. He awoke knowing that this was a command from Allah. Imagine the weight of that moment. The son he had prayed for during decades. The son Allah had miraculously blessed him with. Now Allah was asking him to sacrifice him. This was not a test of love for his son. It was a test of love for Allah. Would Ibrahim place anything above his creator? Without hesitation, he prepared to obey. But before carrying out the command, Ibrahim spoke gently to Ismail. The Quran preserves this conversation forever. He said, "Oh, my dear son, indeed, I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. Tell me, what do you think?" Think about that question. A father asking his son, not forcing him, not hiding the truth, but inviting him to share in complete submission to Allah. Ismail's answer became one of the greatest examples of faith in human history. He replied, "O my beloved father, do as you have been commanded. If Allah wills, you will find me among those who are patient. No fear, no resistance, no complaint, only trust in Allah." Father and son walked together toward the place Allah had chosen. Every step reflected complete faith. Every step proved that true believers place Allah above everything else. When they arrived, Ibrahim gently laid his son upon the ground. According to many Islamic narrations, He turned Ismail's face away so that his love as a father would not make the test even harder. He raised a knife. His heart was filled with complete submission, not because he lacked mercy, but because he trusted Allah completely. At that very moment, just as the knife was about to descend, Allah called out, "O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the vision." The test was over. Ibrahim had succeeded. His willingness to obey was all that Allah required. A magnificent ram was sent from paradise. It became the sacrifice in place of Ismail. Allah declared, "Indeed, this was the clear trial." From that day forward, the sacrifice became a symbol of submission to Allah. Every year, during Eid al-Adha, millions of Muslims around the world remember this extraordinary moment, not because Allah desires blood or meat, but because He loves sincerity, obedience, and faith. Years later, Allah gave Ibrahim another great honor. He commanded him and Ismail to build the sacred house. Together, father and son raised the foundations of the Kaaba. Stone by stone, they worked side by side. As they built, they prayed, "Our Lord, accept this from us. Indeed, you are the all-hearing, the all-knowing." Even while completing one of the greatest acts of worship in history, they worried whether Allah would accept their deeds. Such was their humility. When the Kaaba was completed, Allah commanded Ibrahim, "Proclaim the pilgrimage to mankind." How could one man call all of humanity? Yet Ibrahim obeyed. Allah carried his call across generations. Today, millions of pilgrims answer that same call every single year. From every continent, every language, every race, every color, gathering around the very house that Ibrahim and Ismail built thousands of years ago. But Ibrahim's prayers reached even further into the future. Standing beside the Kaaba, he made another remarkable supplication. "Our Lord, send among them a messenger from themselves who will recite your verses, teach them the book and wisdom, and purify them." Centuries later, Allah answered that prayer. From the descendants of Ismail came the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The mission that began with Ibrahim reached its completion through Muhammad. Because of his unwavering faith, Allah honored Ibrahim with a title given to no ordinary person, Khalilullah, the close friend of Allah. He was not remembered because of wealth. He built no empire. He commanded no great army. His greatness came from something far more valuable: complete trust in Allah. The story of Ibrahim teaches us that truth is not determined by the majority. One believer standing with Allah is stronger than an entire nation standing upon falsehood. He stood against his own people, against his own father, against a tyrant king, against an entire civilization. Yet he never compromised his faith. His life reminds us that every believer will face tests. Some will lose wealth. Some will lose comfort. Some will lose relationships. But every sacrifice made for Allah is never forgotten. Today, billions of people know the name Ibrahim. His legacy lives on every time someone worships Allah alone, every time pilgrims circle the Kaaba, every time Zamzam is drunk, every time Eid al-Adha is celebrated. His story is not merely history. It is a living reminder that faith can change the world. One man, standing alone, can inspire billions. The idols of Babylon have long since crumbled into dust. The palaces of Nimrod have disappeared. The kings who mocked Ibrahim are forgotten. But the message of Ibrahim remains alive. Worship Allah alone. Trust Him completely. Never compromise the truth. And remember, every test is an opportunity to draw closer to your Creator. This is why Ibrahim became known forever as the Father of Monotheism. The end.